I really have to thank, sorry, I'll probably, microphone is not on, right? So I really have to thank you for doing that exercise because typically I am nervous, getting on the stage. So thank you for that. All right. I promised that I didn't change my slides. I know Lalit in the morning mentioned about the elephant in the room, right? So, all right. So, then it is you, Samir, who changed these, okay? All right. So amazing sessions, guys. I think this was really great. I think, am I audible? Because I kind of, moving away a little bit. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shishir Choudhary, and I lead the GCC business at YASH Technologies. And I am going to talk about the AI and the GCCs, but frankly, I know GCC, I don't know anything about AI. I don't know what is going to happen in the future. I think we probably all are hypothesizing based on what we are seeing, and that's exactly what I'm going to do also. I'm seeing some real use cases with my customers. I'm going to bring those use cases, and like I do in most of the cases, we'll extrapolate those to see that where exactly the future is going, and probably, those are purely my views in a way. So you see the elephant in the room, right? I mean, of course, it had different names in the past. I'm pretty sure that all of you dealt with these different names that you are seeing on the screen over here. I know that most of you, I'm not judging anybody's age here, but most of you are probably in the industry more than 2 decades. I've seen many of these changes, and the new name of the change now is definitely AI, right? And I think we probably have to see that, how do we deal with this elephant, right? Going further, I think probably, in the morning, whoever, all of you were in the session, RK talked about the 𝗥𝗲𝘀 of these demands, right? And that's one of the reasons that why the GCCs exist in the first place. So I'll reiterate that a little bit, just to set the context. Every organization goes through various different things, and each of these line items, what you see on the screen there, the run, the expand, the mergers and acquisitions, the transform, as well as the digital product development, each of these things have got its own budget, right? And organizations need the business capabilities, the technology capabilities to actually achieve these. I mean, those business capabilities as well as the technology capabilities can be, done in-house, or they can be outsourced, right? Now, so far, one of the major contenders for that work has been GCCs. Last 2 decades, I mean, we have seen tremendous progress, but you know what? I think there is a new genie in the town, and which is claiming that probably I can do it all for free, right? Of course, there is an underlying investment that is needed. Now, let's take a pause here. We know that there is a lot of funding that already has been done for the AI. There is an AI summit that is happening. India is also leading in many of these areas. Really, there are 2 schools of thoughts. One school of thought is all about when exactly it is supposed to happen, and of course, the media hype and the companies who are truly investing into this, they want it, just around the corner, right? And there is a hype there. And then the other school of thought is all about it is going to take time. But frankly, there is no third school of thought which says that this is not going to happen. So it is definitely there. Now, how far it is definitely a big question. So what I'm going to do is more to kind of, focus on some of the use cases, what we are seeing. Not going to describe exactly the use cases, but more of the category of these 3 use cases. The first one is all about the software engineering. This is where a large financial house is trying to run this. Some of the speakers, I think they talked about SDLC and how it is getting compressed. The outcome of this is more to do with what is and I'm looking at my time also just to make sure, that the outcome of most of these use cases is about what skill sets are required, in the future. And I think that is becoming very, very important. The second one is all about the agents. The large manufacturing company, they are running a pilot in one of their plants in 𝗥𝗲𝗀𝗃, and most of the support tickets of the SAP are getting assigned to an agent. And again, this is not something which is being done company-wide. It's only the level 2, level 3 support tickets are getting assigned. But this is becoming reality. Now the models, underlying models that they are using is more SLMs that they have been trained for a very, very specific purpose. Again, a variation from the previous example where the LLMs in-house has been used. In this example, the SLMs have been used. More of the double-click view of these, we are actually covering that in one of the other sessions, and on the booth also, please stop by if you have more questions. The third example is very interesting. This is one of the domains that I also have worked in the past, the aftermarket. And some of you who have worked in the service supply chain would know that it's really complex. Fast forward, at one point of time, the India center was only the nerve center carrying out all the data scrubbing and all the Excel spreadsheets collection that typically happens from various different dealers, especially in the service parts supply chains, feeding that into an engine, to create the forecasting and planning, and then of course, doing the forward deployment of those in a specific distribution centers and what. Okay. Fast forward, the same analysts who used to do all that grunt work, they have achieved enough business knowledge. They have been enabled with the tools to ensure that they truly are now managing the business KPIs, right? The fill ratio especially is very important, as well as the the managing the working capital and such. Okay. I'll kind of make sure that the animation is gone. Long story short, what we are seeing over here is, number one, the things are shifting from being human intensive, manual, to a second stage, which is more about going with the business outcomes. This is more of AI assisted. The third stage, and this is what I mentioned earlier, is more of an hypothesis. The third stage that is coming in is more of an orchestration layer, and this is where I think I'll probably spend maybe a minute or so. As the agent starts to do the routine work, the more and more time will be available to the humans to do the change, because as we started, the elephant in the room was change. And as 𝗏𝗃𝗀𝗃 also mentioned in his session earlier, the change is not going to go away. In fact, the pace of the change is going to increase to an extent that it actually becomes the jolts. Use the right word here. And as we look at that, and it probably you would have seen that also, right? If you go to your boss and ask for more work, there is no dearth of work. The 5 categories which we mentioned earlier, right? There is a lot of work that is coming in. What has been missing, and where you might have got no from your boss, is there is no budget available. And I think that is one thing which will be enabled as we go forward, that managing these changes by the humans will become, agile, and then that's what's gonna sort of, push the envelopes further. All right, so how far is this future? I think earlier also I mentioned that the debate is not between whether it is going to happen or not. The debate is between when it is going to happen. Of course, it's truly a billion-dollar question, right, for everybody. So on this side, on one side, we see all these great news, this head-spinning news, which talks about that, hey, the future is coming and probably it is around the corner. And then on the another side, we see that there are multiple different hurdles in between us and this progress that what we are talking about, right? So my own view on this is not going to happen automatically. The AI is not going to happen all by itself. There is the humans who are going to kind of come in and actually make it happen, and that's basically something which we probably have to kind of look at. All right. So what's the opportunity for the GCCs into this? So all these 5 columns, what we are looking at here, it will have the budget available, and as I mentioned earlier, the pace of change is going to increase, so more and more work is supposed to come in. And I know I'm between you and your lunch, but I will not take more than a minute now. The question is not about whether the AI will happen or not. How the GCCs are preparing for that change whether you want to get jolted, the seatbelt effect, whether you want to really resist the change, where organization headquarters is actually giving you something and you're trying to resist, or you want to become, take that momentum that the organization is giving or the AI is giving to you and propelling forward, or you yourself are becoming the jolt. That's the decision that is. And I think each of these cases, I think there are, of course, some examples. Again, I'll not get into each of those examples, but those are very powerful examples, especially in terms of, in all these three stages, or all these three milestones for you, the setup, scale up, and the level up, there will be few things, new things, that you probably will have to bring in to ensure that your organizations are ready for that. Okay. All right. So finally, concluding it, I think RK brought up a really good concept. The unit, the you and it, combined together is going to define the overall capacity of tomorrow. It's not going to be only human versus AI. It's basically a combination of that. So with that, thank you so much. Time is up and your lunch is outside. All right. Thank you.